Trekcast.
The galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast.
Here we are. Live.
Welcome to Sunday morning. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Wednesday. Yeah. So for those of you guys watching, we are live. Breaking news, big breaking news. Probably shouldn't shy away from what's going on. If you guys have seen the reports, Paramount and Warner Bros. Are in talks for a merger. And this was first reported by Axios. And it's kind of a big deal. So I thought we should do some breaking news. So Scott has joined me for this. Scott, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. Looking forward to hearing what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And to help us with this, we are bringing in Aster from dailystartreknews.com. Aster is one of the reporters there. You want to introduce yourself to everybody, Aster?
Yeah, I'd love to. Hi, I'm Aster. I'm a big Star Trek fan. Like Daniel said, I work at Daily Star Trek News. I'm just kind of a big nerd, and I got offered a really cool job, and now I'm here. So
right on.
That's awesome. I love it.
Right on. So fill us in, Aster. What's going on with this merger talks? What do we know so far?
So basically, on Tuesday, Warner Brothers and Paramount they met in New York City to talk about the possibility of merging, and the main motivation from this for this, from what I can tell, is basically after Disney Plus and Hulu merged, they need to be a competitive streaming platform now because no one really has Max or Paramount Plus unless they're really into one of those shows. So they're
That's
trying
true.
to become a more competitive streaming platform. As the main motivation. Right now it's just talks, though. Warner Brothers are getting their bankers to look into it, and that's pretty much the news.
Okay.
The biggest effect that this has been in like real life is there's been a 12% rise in the Paramount stock. But that's
right.
Yeah.
The investors are happy
like
about
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this could be a big thing for both Paramount and Discovery. They're not as big as Disney or Apple or Amazon as far as entertainment media. So combining the two kind of does give them a bigger footprint in the market. I know that Paramount has a pretty good distribution internationally.
Mhm.
And so that could be a big benefit for Warner Brothers as well. I know Warner Brothers, they do have their distribution, but typically they partner with other distributors to get their films out. So if they have that already in-house through Paramount, that could be a big thing for them. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus, this could give us the crossover we've all been waiting for years.
Oh, what are you
And
going to match
that's
together?
Star Trek and Looney Tunes. I mean, Bugs Bunny on the bridge.
See,
that's what we're all thinking, right?
I want Scooby-Doo in Lower Decks.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
My first thought was actually a Game of Thrones and Star Trek. I'd love to see some dragons in space.
Ooh, there you go. There you
Space
go. I
Dragons
like
would be
that.
cool. Yeah.
I like that. I'm actually right in the middle of Game of Thrones. I've never watched it before. I just started season 4 of Game of Thrones, so I'm kind of a Game of Thrones newbie. But I'm really enjoying the series. So
yeah, so it sounds like it's pretty early on. We don't know exactly what this will mean. It's just a lot of just guessing at this point. But one of the things I had thought about as I was driving home, knowing we were going to talk about this, is Warner Brothers has been very much in a heavy let's cut everything we can, trim the fat mode, right? We had the Batgirl movie shelved famously. They were going to, like, it's done. I don't know if you know about that, Aster, but yeah.
Oh no, I know. It hurt a bit.
Right?
I was
right?
so excited for that movie.
Yeah, me too.
So are we.
Yeah, and then there's the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie that's currently is being shopped around, but that's only after public outcry for this film. They were originally going to shelf it too. So, yeah, that makes me wonder about Star Trek. Like, we know that Discovery used to be profitable when they were selling it internationally to like Amazon and to Netflix for distribution, right? So by charging those streaming services, internationally, that's how it was profitable. But then when Paramount Plus went international, it wasn't as much because now they were on streaming revenue, and we don't know what those numbers are, how much of a draw Discovery has been for their own streaming revenue, or any of the other Star Trek shows, right? Because now it's all in-house. So
Right.
could we be seeing a reduction in Star Trek shows if this merger happens, just because of how tightly Warner Brothers keeps the purse strings?
I was worried about that too, especially with Prodigy just getting cut and moving to Netflix. That was my
Yeah.
biggest worry when reading about this. I'd hope that theoretically it would allow for both companies to have a bigger budget, especially if they can become a competitive streaming platform.
Yeah, I mean, ideally that's the hope, right? I mean, I guess Discovery doesn't really have to worry about it because it's their final season, so they're good either way.
Right.
But
They're done. So
yeah. But like long term, Strange New Worlds, could that be reduced? Could Lower Decks? I mean, Lower Decks is already 4 or 5 years in, so they could be saying, "Hey, time for that to go." We've got the Section 31 movie that's supposed to be starting to shoot next month. So
yeah,
that
it
still
just all
happen or-
boils down to
Yeah.
the dollars. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we want these companies to make money because when they make money, they make the content we like. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Now, okay, what are some of the big players? You mentioned Game of Thrones. Now, forgive my ignorance. Can we talk about what companies are associated with what other companies?
Right.
Like,
all the other little dolls in that nesting doll.
right. Exactly. So when we're talking about Warner Brothers, what big, not necessarily franchises, but what big companies are we talking about? Warner
DC,
Brothers owns
DC
okay,
Comics.
DC. Yep.
Yeah. Game of Thrones. What is that? The
I think they just own HBO, if I'm not
right.
mistaken.
Yeah, they own
I'm-
HBO. So
I'm not
anything on
positive,
HBO.
yeah.
Okay. That's kind of big.
The Last
Yeah,
of
they own
Us,
the
that
Harry
show.
Potter franchise.
Yeah, they own the
Okay.
Harry Potter franchise.
I think I've heard of that one too.
Looney Tunes. Man, there's a few others. I think they own Hanna-Barbera. I think they bought them out a long time ago.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm thinking, do you remember that Paramount commercial where they were climbing the top of the mountain and it was like Dora the Explorer and Captain Pike and the guys from NCIS and all that kind of
All
stuff?
of those. All of
Just
those.
imagine who's going to be on that mountain now. There's going to be dragons flying around and, the Marvin the Martian.
Paw Patrol. Yeah.
Right. All of it. So,
yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot of properties all under one umbrella. So I guess we'll see what happens to us long term with this. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to say definitively at this point, but it's definitely something we'll keep tracking. And let you guys know as it moves along. Aster, anything else you want to bring up about the merger or any other predictions you have for it?
Part of me wonders how the merger will affect the filming process and if we could see a turnover in creatives on movies like the Section 31 movie or the new Starfleet Academy show that I don't know if is confirmed yet, but they'll be talking about it.
Well, they had confirmed it that they were going to make it, and they have a writer's room for it. Even what's her name? She plays Mariner. She's
Tawny Newsom.
Tawny Newsom.
Yeah, Tawny. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
so I wonder if we would see an overturning creatives with that, with Warner Brothers having their sort of money in the game now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be curious to see how that plays out.
Like if their showrunners are going to, be involved in the process that our showrunners are already in. And by ours, I'm talking about Star Trek, obviously. But
yeah.
Also, how is this going to affect? I pay a certain amount per month for Paramount Plus, but I also have HBO or Max. So, are they going to come up with some sort of tiered system or some sort of, bundle package, whatever?
Yeah. I mean, it's very early on for those discussions, but probably. I'm also wondering now, Star Trek Legacy has been hanging out there, right? People have been talking about that, whether or not that's going to actually happen. I've kind of had this realization recently that I kind of think it is going to happen just because Terry Matalas is not yet officially signed on to anything else that we know of. And that guy did such a great job with Picard season 3. You would think that somebody would have scooped him up by now if he wasn't already committed to Star Trek in some way.
Right.
But,
And hopefully everybody knows he did a good job. Everybody important knows, like the execs at Paramount and the execs at Warner Brothers, if that merger happens.
Yeah, hopefully. So
it can go one of two ways. When you have a merger like that come in, you have these two companies come together and you've got a project that's sort of hanging in the balance. It can get the project can get a shove. Now, the question is, does it get shoved off a cliff or does it get shoved into production?
Well, to give you an idea, like now that I'm thinking about it, to give you an idea how quick things could get shoved, right when Discovery bought Warner Brothers, they were about 2 to 3 weeks away from doing a Wonder Twins film. Right? They had announced this, and they even cast it. They announced who the cast was going to be. So they the script was ready. They were going to go, right? And then soon as Discovery bought them, they immediately canceled that film and said, we're not doing this thing, So who knows what that could mean for, Section 31 or Star Trek Academy. The other thing to consider is Discovery has made their money with unscripted shows, right? Reality shows. That's their bread and butter, right? So could we see some sort of reality show Star Trek? Not necessarily like following people around or whatever, but maybe like, I don't know, like a game show. Like
a quiz show or Academy, like
the game show. Yeah. Something along those lines,
I volunteer for that one.
Yeah.
I pictured like a sort of sci-fi nature show where someone walks through all the planets in Star Trek. Like I'm exploring the
that would be amazing.
Yeah. I would love that.
Or some sort of like unexplained universe kind of show like you see on History Channel, but with like maybe Star Trek actors, which you see on the History Channel now that I think about it. Doesn't
or behind the scenes
have
stuff.
one? Yeah. Making of Star Trek.
I would love to see Jonathan Frakes, walk around with a camera again like he did 30 years ago and go backstage and talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that would be neat. That'd be really neat. But yeah, that's basically where we're at right now, guys. With this, it's all kind of speculative at this point. But Aster, tell us a little bit about Star Trek Daily News or Daily Star Trek News. Sorry.
Yeah, well, we are part of the Roddenberry Podcast Network. It's in the name. We release Star Trek news daily, except for weekends because we need a break sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's we tried to cover everything from toy releases to video games to any book, comic. Someone who works with us, Alex, has like a massive spreadsheet of the release date of like every comic for the next I don't even know how many years.
Right on.
Yeah, it's not
that
on our
is
website,
very cool.
but,
yeah. This is the website I'm showing it off right now. Yeah, and I recently did a guest post on there. So
so
nice.
Pretty much what we do.
We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, I get to do whatever I want. I do the meme reviews every Monday, which
nice.
Because I see Star Trek memes all over like my Instagram and my Twitter, and I'm like, I just was always saving them to my phone. And I reached out to T-Rick, who is the managing editor, and I was like, I have the best idea ever. So I started doing it. It's been super fun, and
that sounds so much fun. Yeah, I love it.
How long have you been with them?
I actually just started this summer. I met T-Rick. I work in theater, backstage work, and T-Rick is a stage manager, and we were both working on the same show this summer. And I met him, and I believe, if I remember correctly, someone asked me if I like Star Trek or Star Wars better, and this is my least favorite question.
Okay.
Right? So I get on my soapbox every time, and I'm like, they're incomparable pieces of media. You can it's my whole thing.
I agree,
and I think
100%.
Yeah, I'm wearing my my Star Wars jacket and my Star Trek shirt right now.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I love them both, and I it's my biggest pet peeve when people ask me to compare them, and I believe I was ranting about how they're incomparable, and T-Rex saw me and was like, came up to me, he was like, "Do you know how to write?" I was like, "I guess I do," and then I started writing for Daily Star Trek News.
Right on. How do you guys go about getting your news?
Pretty much anywhere. I have we have a Discord, and I have a bot set up that basically goes through, the Google News feed. And it'll go and pull basically anything that says Star Trek in it. So it'll just send us it the minute it comes out. And other than that, because we're part of the Roddenberry Podcast Network, we will get sent like press releases of like news. So we got like the announcement for Prodigy before it was announced to the public, and then
Oh,
we read
cool.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's things like that, and that's pretty much how we get our news,
Right on.
or just
Yeah.
through the grapevine.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you attend conventions or?
We have some people in our staff do. I personally do not.
Okay.
I'm a college student. I don't got that kind of time.
Right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
understood.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Scott, anything else you wanted to ask or?
No, I think I'm good. I'm definitely going to go check out your website, and I encourage everybody to do that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Please do, and if anyone wants to subscribe to our Patreon, it helps us all out.
Oh,
I
nice.
just have to plug it.
For sure.
You get
Oh,
access to our
absolutely.
Discord. You can come hang out with us.
Right on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring up, Aster, other than that, or where can folks find you on social media?
So all of our social media tags are at Daily Trek News.
Okay.
You can find us there, or you can go to our website, and they're all linked there as well.
Right on.
Awesome. Can't wait to check it out. I love this community. It's so awesome.
It's really great. Well, Aster, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being so flexible about the breaking news and all that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
glad
thank
we
you. It's
could do
nice meeting
this.
you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet
Well,
you.
thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys probably after New Year. Bye.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
This is Captain Benjamin Sisko of Deep Space Nine and Space God to the Bajorans. I have a mission for you. This falls outside of Starfleet guidelines, so I can't order you, but I'm asking for volunteers. Volunteers who will subscribe to the Trekcast YouTube channel, leave 5-star reviews on your podcast app of choice, and share Trekcast across your social media accounts. If we can make our audience bigger, we might have a chance against the Dominion. Are you ready? Subscribe, like, and share. Are you with me?